Hey everyone, Daniel here from Team Kuribrohs, and I am back with another Eldlich deck profile. I finished first place at the OTS Championship in Waterford Comics, so I had a great time. It was a small enough event, very nicely run, but I ended up going undefeated with Eldlich, getting me this lovely playmat. So without further ado, let's just hop into the deck first, and then I can kind of just give my opinions on where Eldlich stands in the format in general. So for our Eldlich package, I was playing 2 Eldlich to Golden Lord. I don't think there's too much grave banishment in the format at the moment, so I think 2 Eldlich is fine. I had been testing 3, due to the fact that sometimes at locals I was losing copies, but at the moment I think 2 is a good ratio. Then I'm on 2 Scarlet Sanguine, 1 Elixir of White Destiny. I think this White Destiny should be a Black Awakening instead in this list, but if you are playing Duality, then I think the White Destiny is correct. I'm not convinced that you need to fort Elixir, but there are definitely matchups where having the fort copy is nice, just to have more names and more ability to get into your Golden Land cards as well. Just strengthens your grind ever so slightly. We're on triple Conquistador and 2 Haquaro, so this is all very standard. Haquaro obviously is like great for attacking, but I think his graveyard banishment effect isn't as relevant this format. It's really hard for a Haquaro to actually hit a DPE unless they pop him, and then during their draw phase you activate Haquaro and Scarlet Sanguine, which is less likely to happen as a lot of people are currently playing Ash. Then for draw power, we're on Treepot of Extravagance, Treepot of Prosperity. So this is one of the largest changes. I had been playing Tree Extravagance to Duality, and I was quite fond of that. But I tested Sighting Prosperity for a while, and at this point I think, if possible, maining Prosperities is correct. The main reason for this is that finding your Judgment or your Dark Bribe in games 2 and 3 is so important. Additionally, because these can be sent by Golden Lord, it doesn't matter that you run out of extra deck, because the draw power of Extravagance or the setup of Prosperity are most valuable turns 1 and 2, and then after that they become fodder for your Golden Lord. So far they've been performing well, playing the 2 of them. Again, just increasing the likelihood of seeing one of your consistency spells is really nice. Even going first game 1, but I don't think there's that large of a difference between prosperity and duality game 1. Again, it is noticeable. It is noteworthy that if you're playing prosperity, it means you can resolve Black Awakening going first, which means you hypothetically can set a bunch of stuff and have Haquaro or Conquistador ready from the get-go. Then we're playing triple Torrential Tribute and triple Needle Sealing. So Needle Sealing is something that I've been trying out. I was wanting more board breakers because of how wide the boards are going this format, and Needle Sealing seemed like a reasonable go-to. I know it's not kind of secret tech, it is something that people have been playing for a while, but especially with Skill Drain at 3, you're really wanting very efficient removal, and Needle Sealing kind of fits that bill. And again, if you end up having to go second to game 1, then you're able to at least set a Needle Sealing and a Strike or a Skill Drain, and hopefully that lets you clear the opponent's board. Also, you obviously have a lot of ways to summon monsters yourself, so there are plenty of ways to make Needle Sealing live, even if you're slightly short. Then on negations, we have 3 Solemn Strike, 3 Skill Drain. I think these are the most important cards in the deck. I'm still not sure if I should be on 2 or 3 Skill Drain. Skill Drain is super important this format because obviously it's really creature heavy, so being able to shut stuff off is really valuable. But I find if you open double Skill Drain, you often will be in a position where you don't actually have enough interaction to stop your opponent just beating you down. So that's kind of something that I'm still kind of coming to grips with and figuring out. And then for our one of interactions, like interacting with just a single card, I played 2 Dogmatic Punishment, 1 Called by the Grave, triple Ice Dragon Prison. Called by the Grave is really strong this format because if you're going second and your opponent summons Phoenix Enforcer, they're very likely to Phoenix Enforcer during your end phase, at which point they clear one of your back rows and you can just Called by the Grave in response to DP's effect. So that's super high value. I think this is just correct to play. Again, it is effectively a trap card most of the time. It's not super good, and I think Ice Dragon Prison is also something that I'm not as impressed with in this format. In a format where Dark Dragoon is seeing a lot of play, this is really important because you're able to Ice Dragon Prison, the Red Eyes, and then Skill Drain or Strike to stop the Dragoon negate. But it matches much worse into Phoenix Enforcer. Obviously, you can still Skill Drain the Phoenix Enforcer now, but Strike doesn't stop the Phoenix Enforcer and allow you to still banish him. So that's something that I think has definitely made Ice Dragons worse. Also, Ice Dragons doesn't interact at all with the adventure package, so that's another big problem with the card this format. And also with Prank Kids being popular, Ice Dragon Prison is one of the worst interactions with them. So those are all things that kind of concern me about it. 2 Dogmatica Punishment. This card's absolutely bonkers, but the thing that I'm concerned with Punishment is games where you open 2 copies of Punishment, it's really awkward. Again, it means that you have a trap card that just doesn't do anything. So ideally, I would probably try to cut one of the Ice Dragon Prisons to find something better, but that's the general trap layout. And then the last part, I was playing 1 Paleozoic Dynamiscus. I just wanted a card that I could draw in grind games that would always out problem cards, because it was a small event and there was going to be Rogue there. So it never actually came up, and I probably am just going to drop it. I was between it and Phoenix Wing Windblast, but I don't think they do enough. And then I'm playing 2 Goes in Match, 3 Solemn Judgment. I'm really iffy on the Floodgates this format. I think Gozen is correct, and I probably should be playing 3 of it. Again, it just can work with Skill Drain to keep you alive until you have your Eldlich engine working, and then Judgment is just mandatory. It's strong every game of the match. And again, like, people are still maining Dusters and stuff at the moment, Dusters and Cosmics, so just having the ability to stop spell and trap removal is really valuable. For extra deck, we're playing 3 Elder Entity Entis. Even if we're only playing 2 Punishment, it still makes sense to play 3 copies of this because it just gives us more flexibility with Prosperity, or if we're banishing randomly with Extravagance, we still want to have Entis available to us. Then 2 Constellar Pleiades. I really like this card. Super bonkers. Again, the main reason for playing 2 is Extravagance, because you only ever really make 1. Gustav Max and Lieb. This is standard. Zeus, Wind Pegasus at Ignister, Omega, Link Spider, Crystron, Halki Fibrax. So I'll explain this in a minute. I need more theory on this, but I think it is correct to be playing it. And then Lina, the Light Charmer, Blackluster Soldier, Access Code Talker. You rarely make anything in this. The Pegasus at Ignister is super valuable because if your opponent isn't thinking straight, they'll often like DP, keep the DP on board, and then you can banish the Wind Pegasus.